Hi, everybody, and welcome to our album review for Bad Meets Evil. That's Eminem and Royce da 5'9" and their project Hell, the sequel. That's a reference to their song Bad Meets Evil. Anyway, this is the Classic Quest podcast, the show where we go through the classic albums throughout the history of the hip-hop genre. Discuss them all track by track. A good example of the kind of album we like to talk about would be Bad Meets Evil, Hell, the sequel, this very project. So we're going to run through it. My name is Holden Stephan Roy.
I am your lady friend Bonnie.
And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
So we do encourage all your comments. We'll have some conversations down there. You can tell us your thoughts and feelings on the album, your favorite songs, what you thought when you first saw it come out, all that good stuff. Anyway, it's probably gonna, take some time to go through these tracks. We're gonna try and condense into a single part. So without further ado, we can move into the whole episode part. So before we do, special thanks in advance to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Pryor, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Linda Williams, Coney Sparks, and Scribble. Touch on that at the end of the episode. So Bonnie, why don't you reintroduce the album that we're going to talk about just one more time?
Well, we are doing once more Bad Meets Evil, Hell, the sequel, which came out June 14th, 2011. So it feels like it's like yesterday when you say 2011, or at least I think it does. But it's not. It's like 20, almost 10 years ago almost.
The Black Eyed Peas were popping back then.
Right.
The Black Eyed Peas are forgotten these days.
Never forget.
So we like to start off the show contextualizing our familiarity with each artist. We've covered a lot of Eminem on this channel, so you can imagine that we're
familiar.
There's a whole Eminem playlist. If you type in Behind That Suit, Eminem is predicted, at least when I do it, so people care about that. We've done a couple of Royce albums on my end. We did Book of Ryan, which I think is one of the best albums to drop in, I believe it was 2018. We just talked about the Allegory, Mr. Christopher and myself. That was the most recent video to come out on this channel. That is not, anyway, it's amazing. It's a very recent album.
Yep.
Because of Royce's excellent work there, we thought it would be appropriate to try to sync it up for the Bad Meets Evil, which would be chronologically the next in the shady albums for us to go through, because we have talked about everything up until Recovery at this point. From Infinite all the way straight down through each of the projects, track by tracks, same kind of deal. And I think it's pretty established that I know both of these artists pretty well. I think Royce da 5'9" is a truly wonderful, underground hip-hop lyricist, and I think Eminem does the Eminem thing the way Eminem does.
That's right.
Do you know, do you know Royce da 5'9"?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, I am new to his whole, to his sound and style and whatever and everything. So obviously, I know Eminem. I've listened to him since before we started this channel. But I've heard so much about Royce da 5'9", but I've never actually listened to his music. And I've kind of been like, well, let's do it. I have no idea what he sounds like. Let's do one. And then so here we are. We're finally doing it. And that's pretty much it.
So that's this. Bad Meets Evil is the collective of Eminem and Royce da 5'9". The project is called Welcome to Hell, which is playing up on that track they did on the Slim Shady LP, where it's like, see you in hell for the sequel. I believe Royce says that somewhere near the end of the track. And, it's kind of like a whole lot happened between then and, this album dropping. There was the whole beef, there was the whole reconciliation. They all came, but I can remember when this, came out, I was really excited. I mean, I remember when Fastlane dropped as a single, and it was like, no shit. The Bad Meets, M's back again. It was like a double down on that M's back feeling that I think Recovery had given me from that era. Plus, I was early 20s at this point, full grown adult, ready for this stuff. YouTube was popping. You could just watch everything on YouTube. You didn't have to buy albums anymore. What a wonderful time to be alive, I bring that up because they're gonna get mad at me because they have that track about "Don't steal our music." So
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. I stole this album back in the day, ironically. But yeah, I like the title because it is that little kind of cookie cutter, but also kind of plays up on the mindset of what Bad Meets Evil is going to represent, the more hellish, darkest side of their personalities.
Yep.
And the cover is all nice and holy, heavenly, and you just see all these broken CDs. Like they're in like a graveyard of dead music, broken sounds, smashed up records, and here they are ready to like bring some life back into the game. And I say that because I think it's almost commenting on the state of pop hip hop at that time, which is maybe not favoring the lyricist the way these dudes might have liked. I mean, I would argue that pop music's always been trash, and hip hop just went from underground to pop, and there's still good underground hip hop out there this whole era. I found out there's a lot of good underground hip hop from this era as time's gone on.
Yep.
But anyway, pop music, it's just gotten worse and more formulaic and more expensive since this last decade has passed. But underground music, tons of flourished. Anyway, it depends, I guess, on where you go to look for your music. Does Billboard count a lot? If Billboard counts a lot, you must be miserable at the state of music. If you just ignore Billboard and go look for what's out there, it's a wonderful time to be alive. I digress.
I guess, yeah.
That's what I kind of think about when I look at that cover and the title. What about you?
I like how like the title font kind of reflects both of like their names and like their like logos like with their names because it's kind of like both are kind of mixed in, so I like that they're coming together like as like two separate people. So I think that that's still kind of cool. And we have Em and Royce are like basically sitting on speakers in what I took as like an ominous post-apocalyptic type situation, and it's very like dull and gray. And there's like records laying on the ground in front of them, and like the sun's coming out like behind them. But like around that are clouds, and the clouds are in like the shape of like skull faces, and so it's like the evilness is like still there, and I thought that was like kind of cool. So yeah, it looks cool, and you know, you're kind of like excited. Like when I saw the title or the cover, I was excited to like get into it. I was like, I don't know who this other guy is, but I'm excited to get into this.
The other guy's Royce the 5'9". He's pretty powerful.
I figured.
Anyway, he's also apparently he had several lines promoted, and this is going to piss off maybe some people because it's not related to this album, but he really had on 3 separate tracks references to like anti-vax propaganda, which fit the album, because the album he just did, the allegory, kind of presented, I guess, to be black and anxious in a modern sense, and it becomes an easy leap to jump to the point where somebody up top is using vaccinations, but it just popped into my head. I can't stop thinking about it because he did a whole fucking skit on his album about this. Okay. Anyway, he's sober now, which is cool, and M's sober now, which is cool. I think M was sober during this project, but I believe Royce was not sober during the recording of this project. Although maybe I should have brought that up later on. Anyway, welcome to Hell.
Let's do it.
All right, Bonnie, how do you feel about this introduction?
Well, I mean, it's pretty cool because it sounds kind of like there's like a fire burning like kind of at the beginning, and it, you know, so you're kind of, you know, like the fires of hell, I guess, essentially. And it's just sort of like a great way to like start the album off. And we have like, you know, both of the guys, you've got Eminem and Royce there, and they're both spitting like hard and fast, and, you know, they're talking tough. And I like that they're, you know, kind of going back and forth on one verse. They're sort of like bouncing off of each other. So I like that was nice. I mean, overall, to start off with, I mean, they both sound pretty good. I mean, it's nothing like mind-blowing yet, but it's pretty good. And like they have great flows, and like their rhymes are pretty tight. So I give it a 4.4 on 5.
I feel like there's a strange feeling for me as I listen to this track, because on the one hand, for 2011, this is next level. For 2020, I mean, Godzilla's out now.
Right.
And, like, Rap God's out. And so many other, like, incredible feats. I mean, so much has dropped that makes this feel like almost like it was paving the way towards maybe better shit than actually being, like, next level. Now, hear me out. I think this is wonderful to listen to. I put it on. The beat's got like this crazy energy to it. It's produced by Havoc apparently, which is fucking dope. We're talking from Mobb Deep, which I didn't even notice till this very second. So the beat's got this great energy. Now, if this song comes on, like 100% of the times, I'm gonna go out of my way to listen to it. But like, well, I feel like it checks all the boxes of being like exactly what an amazing rap song's supposed to be. It lacks a memorable identity to the track, and it isn't. And what's crazy is there's even like a concept that drives this track that goes a little bit deeper, and I'm stealing this from the Genius Contributor people, but if you listen to it, M's verse is really long. Like, this starts off like M. Then Royce's verse is a little shorter. And then they kind of go back and forth more frequently until by the end they're kind of blending into almost like a single entity with the way they're punching off of each other. And so there's almost like the coming together of bad meets evil to create like the blending of these two dastardly minds and whatnot. But when I'm looking at the lyrics, the flow's ridiculous. Like, there's a switch, I flip, emotions cut off, so cold a drum froze my butt off. You're like, froze my butt off? Like, it rhymes with cut off, but that's some crap moms say.
Well, sometimes you just have to make it work.
That's not so cold. That's like literally like, yeah, it's cold, so you froze your butt. Like, here's an example of what he could have said. So cold, my ass cheeks froze and ripped the fuck off. Maybe the flow I changed a little bit, but from an intensity point of view, that sounds a little bit harder and like scarier than froze my butt off.
Just having swear words doesn't just
it was the imagery of having your ass scraped and ripped off that took up the intensity. It was a little more, that's some bad in my, anyway.
Yeah, but then if you have like your butt
and this
skin
ain't
removed,
even the
tip
of the
either.
iceberg yet. It's like squirting a squirt gun in the ocean. Fuck all. What I'm trying to say is, none of that's hard.
But it's still truth.
It's all like fast and it hits hard, but like it's not hard. It's like squirting a squirt gun. A squirt gun is tiny.
That's what he means. Like,
it's a good example of futility and like, okay.
But he's saying like if you like it's gonna make no difference basically if you squirt a squirt gun into the ocean, like just that little bit of water or whatever.
I'm just saying, if I want to come in and rap my fucking ass off, like it's like squirting a squirt gun in the ocean. Fuck all other words. I ain't put a dent in the game compared to the damage I've yet to do. I'm like, that squirt gun line is just not like fun. It's just kind of like lame. Right. And then the thing is Eminem. Because I know you have to do your obligatory Eminem's the greatest. Eminem just did Godzilla. Like, I tried the Godzilla challenge. He just broke fucking Twitter. Eminem's killing it today right now. This is okay. As far as hardness goes. As far as something called Welcome to Hell is concerned.
Right, okay.
This is a package introducing me to, like, Slim Shady and Royce the 5'9" going fucking nuts. Anyway, it is a very underwhelming start as far as the lyrics go. And like it's not like it gets better. It's like, as long as I got two balls to palm, I'll be the bomb. You're just a false alarm. Get scunt, little piss ants. I'll see if I don't come along and stomp your farm. All of this works from a literary level. None of it's
not like
kind of hitting. So like, it like works. It's just, I don't think I would go out of my way to, like, put this on. Like, Viking and Venom and Viles and Ren is a little more like, yeah, he's killing people with chainsaws and shit. Here, it's like, yeah, go ahead, little prick bastard, diss it. Sorry, I guess I'm a little prick bastard dissing it. But when you get hit with a sick-ass explicit flow, like I did later on in his career, and on other tracks on this album, this album, spoiler alert, it's got some good, it's got some weird. That's all I'm going to say for now. There's some not as good songs. I wouldn't start here. I would skip this. Like, if you haven't heard the album before and you want to be, like, blown away, I'm not sure this is the best intro from Eminem's point of view. Anyway, then Royce comes in. Guess who just came through to blast you bitches with a ratchet, the Book of Matthew, and a book of matches? And I'm like, there, that was hard. He's coming in to blast me, fair, and he's got, like, biblical fucking ratchet shit. Okay, he's fucking with the juxtaposition of heaven and hell. It's like on point. Lighting him under white linen, you about to have to admit they pass the mic, ask you spit it, and you get handed your own ass, your ass in your own hands. I'm sure they're gonna laugh when you're going to the bathroom with it. A little dad jokey, but still like it's in the veins of like, I'm like, Royce brought it. M like rhythmically did his super fast thing. But at like, okay, you guys get the point of where I'm going with this. I do think Royce is a little more fun. Like, each region breeds some MCs that want to be the Remis. They want to breathe our air with these ideas. Anybody thinking the game don't need the bad and the evil regimes, like saying that Bad Boy Piston team didn't need Isaiah. I don't know what that last line means because, as you can, I'm not really into sports like that. But, like, overall, you get the sense that, like, Royce is here to, like, fuck you up as part of Bad Meets Evil, and he's coming in with hard-hitting rhymes. M is able to spit real fast and goofy with it. That's kind of what I took from the beginning. And then Shit, Piss, and Bleed, this a different breed of MCs. I swear, better beware, there's too much at stake, and to find someone this raw on a beat is rare. You can kiss my ass and eat shit stains on my underwear that I don't even wear. Okay, that one's a little harder, Eminem. Why couldn't we have started with that? That's a little vile.
Because there's a build-up. There's a build-up to the entire song.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I feel like you should start higher when your shit's called Welcome to Hell and not My Butt Off. But anyway, that was lame. And then it just rolls through. They keep coming. I don't have a lot more to comment. I feel like I do like when M goes, and we only get Naylor with time. Me and Nickel fucking shit up on the dime. That was kind of fun because Nickel's like rose to 5'9", which is fun. It's telling us to pipe down. It's like talking to a meth head. Bruce Willis on his deathbed with the last breath with an infection, fighting it like he's watching internet porn. Buds meet his death with an erection. Okay, it's kind of like the way he words it all is pretty good. It's kind of clever. I'm just not necessarily left with like the most overwhelming, this is the greatest I've ever heard. Be that as it may, if I don't think about the lyrics, right, and you just kind of like blend out a bit and just kind of like, if I were to be like on an elliptical or at a gym and it's not really focus mode, it's more like moving and high energy mode, I think this song hits when I don't think about it. The problem is I want to be thinking about Eminem lyrics. So I'm giving this a 4.5 because it definitely has a purpose, but there's like a lot of better Eminem and Royce songs. I think like even the Caterpillar track from that Royce album, Book of Ryan, would be like better for the purposes of what they're trying to do, I think.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not Bad Meets Evil. That's totally fine. Did you give it a grade?
Yes, 4.4. So pretty close.
Fair enough. I think the album really should have just started with Fastlane. I like this song a lot. Since the first time I heard this song, since the music videos dropping, like I've been listening to this, so it's about almost 9 straight years now that I've been listening to Fastlane. I don't know, man. I just think it's a perfect track. I think this is really like strong. Like they come in with a sense of lyricisms where the song's called Fastlane. So unlike Welcome to Hell, which makes me want to hear some vile shit,
like grimy
Fastlane kind of has this smooth, like we come in full force energy just off the title. Then you hear that like, and then like just that start, like you just the way the drums roll and shit,
crazy.
It just spikes you up and ready to go. Unlike the last track, I can't help but just praise this entire song. I don't think this song could have dropped today without a million bloggers talking some shit. There are a few lines that would have been criticized, but like it's just everything from the way Royce word shit, like first verse, like I'm like till I'm on an island, my life's riding on autobahn on autopilot, and I'm like, he just rhymed arm till I'm on with autobahn, on an island, autopilot. I'm like, that's the kind of rapper Royce is. And the thing is like, I don't know that I really ever appreciated how skilled Royce is at this kind of. I'm not saying M's not, but how good Royce is is until like recently. And now going back, I'm just really appreciating like, before I touch dirt or kill y'all with kindness, I kill ya. My natural persona's much worse than just. You've been warned if you've been born or if you conform. Slap up a cop and snatch him out of his uniform. Then he builds up to and hang him by his balls from the horn of a unicorn. And I'm like, how did he make unicorn hard? He just did it. He just brought it through. He then does say, fags, no. I know this. You're not supposed to. But can we give him credit for this from a literary point of view? Yo, intellect's mad slow. Right? So he's calling people stupid. Y'all fags, no. Claiming you banging, you flaming. Why? Because a fag is a fucking cigarette. So on top of being a homosexual, which is flaming, the fact is you would actually put fire to a fag, as in a cigarette. Bet you could light your own cigarette with your asshole. So at that point, it's literally talking about the maybe sexual act of involving a cigarette with an asshole, but simultaneously it's actually apt, and the entire thing works as being a cigarette while being a double entendre for being homosexual. And can we not just acknowledge that if you're gonna call something a fag, do it like that, where at least there's a huge amount of literary defense for its creative fucking
like, well,
use.
it also means this, blah 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 blah.
Like
blah.
It's also playing on the language a bit. I was like, because at first you're like, did he say the fags word? Because we're 2020 now and we're all this kind of people, you know, we're not allowed to be offensive, which I'm cool with. We shouldn't be mean to people. But when you look at that, I was like, yo, did he just, this fag, cigarette, flaming, oh shit. And then him and Shady Dead in the past basically resurrected his cash flow because they had beefed and he's back. And I kind of like that shit. And now he's doing real well, Mr. Royce the 5'9" is. I know, Connie can talk after, but like this song is one of my favorites ever. And then it's just the way like the transition, you know, you still fly kites daily. Catch me in my Mercedes, but a nice ice, baby shit. Anyway, so the way they do that transition as though it's like halfway through the line of it, M just like takes over and keeps it running. There's just so much fun in Eminem's verse, like, and you only live it once, so I'm thinking about this nice lady. Wait, no, stop me before I get on a roll, Danish. And you're like, ad-libs Danish, like it's like on a roll. It's just so funny. Let me tell you about this pretty little dame is, which then dame's name is kind of rhymes with Danish, which makes it fucking work from that point of view. And you're like, Em's doing it too, because she's kind of famous. And you're like, who is this pretty little Danish dame? She's not that Danish. And I hope you don't sound too heinous when I say this. And you're like, heinous is a good word. Nicki Minaj.
I want to stick my penis in Uranus.
And you're like, yeah, I do too. I get you, Em. I mean, if Nikki, if you ever watch and you want to come hang out with us, you know, just letting you know, Nikki, I'm game. I don't even care.
All right.
And it's just the way he's like rapping it at this crazy fast pace, and it's like, you must think that I'm a genius, really? Yeah, I belong inside a dang insane asylum. I couldn't drive in trailer parks, crazy. Yeah, I'm back and now I'm razor sharp, baby, and it's back with a capital B and an exclamation mark, and it's just like. Now he's crazy and he's nuts, and he proved it by wanting to fuck Nicki Minaj in the anus. A totally not crazy idea. Anyway, I just like the way he spits it. And then Slide Jordan kills it with that chorus. I'm living life in the fast lane. And then it just got that beautiful fucking thing. And then the way that Royce and M just kind of like bounce back and forth on the rest of the track. It's just dope. It's just lyrics. It's just heavy hitting. Like, my slow flow is euphoric. It's lapric. It's like I rap endorphins. I make a pact with the devil that says I'll let you take me. You let me take a shovel, dig up the course of Jack Kevorkian. I'm like, what's a Jack Kevorkian? I don't even know what that means. I still don't actually know what that means.
Is it? Hold on. Let me double check.
Anyway. But the way he says it, the way his cadence and his rhythm gets fucked up, and then he goes, living the life of the infinite and me down. My tenement chimney now, the same as the ready in the past, spin him around and enter the vicinity. Now it's called Eminem, but he threw away the candy and ate the rapper. And the way, like, in the middle of the fast, like, choppier part, they do, like, the mic handoff, and then Eminem comes in with the stupid-ass fucking Eminem bar, where, again, Eminem can be really corny sometimes, but I like it. He's, you know what? In all fairness, Eminem, as he's writing this, is straight up in the dad joke era of life. So I'm giving him up. Like, giddy up and get down. And then he does this whole stuttering shit, and it's fine. But he also does kind of drop one of the better bars, in my opinion, on this song here. When he goes, "Shorty, when you dance, you got me captivated. Just by the way you keep licking them dick-sucking lips, I'm agitated, aggravated, to the point you don't suck my dick, then you're going to get decapitated. Other words, you don't fucking give me head, then I'm going to have to take it." Get it? Because give me a head isn't he's going to get the blowjob either way, but also he's going to chop your fucking head off and get the head. I think this song's a banger, and I think that the truth is, after almost a decade, I still love it like the first time I heard it, and maybe it's just nostalgia, but I'm giving this a 5 on 5.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, really, I've got pretty much like the same stuff to say.
You also want to bang Nicki Minaj in the ass?
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, like it has a super great like intro beat. Like it's so great. And like the whole song is like super like hype. And like it's pretty great. And Royce is like, because I'm just starting to get to know him a little bit, as I was listening. He's like a nice, clear rapper with like a super sick flow. And I really think that like him and Eminem make a fantastic team. Like you can like tell right away. And like, yeah, I basically put the same lyrics that you spoke about from Eminem, and like I just thought that they were pretty great. And like his just overall flow. I also loved Sly Jordan, and I don't know if I've like encountered him before, but like I felt like the name was familiar, and I know that he's worked with Nate Dogg and Dr. Dre before, so it's like he's part of like that crew. So I guess maybe he's around, like maybe I've seen his name on something else. And this is just like a song that like I could just never rap along to, just because like it's too fast and I can never get all the words out.
She's wrong. She could.
I mean, I suppose we can all do whatever we set our minds to, right? So yeah, but we're talking about me right now. So anyways, they're living life in the fast lane, and they spit fast, and they're just fast. That's pretty much it. So I give this a 4.75. I thought it was a lot of fun.
See, I know when she gets really mad, she talks really fast and absolutely could keep up with the song. And I'm just saying that because it's like the reunion. Hey, Bonnie, how do you feel about this one?
So this one is interesting. I'm not like 100% sure I've got the story down pat, but I mean, obviously I'll be corrected if not. So like this is basically M is being like violent to a woman, and whoever it is that he's dating. This is like sort of like one of those like exaggerated type stories. Most of the songs about women where he's like, it's always an exaggerated situation. And like, he's just kind of saying like all these like crazy violent things that I say, and yet still like women don't necessarily think of Eminem like this when they they just want to like like a groupie, right? Like they're just like, oh my god, it's Eminem, but they don't think that like he's like this crazy kind of like sexual being. So yeah, but he's talking about it all the time. So and then Royce is also dealing with a woman, and a woman that's asking about like why he doesn't write songs with women, but he's like, whatever, I do me and I do what I like, and like that's kind of that. And I didn't know, like, I mean, I don't know anything about him, right? So like I don't know if this was like a known is this like a known person? Like, I don't know. Is this somebody like, I don't know. But, maybe this is like something that was going on and people knew about in 2011. So that's just like what I mean. And then he won't hang out with her, even though like she wants to like hang out with her, like him. And so he just kind of is like, whatever.
Well, she did say the word swagger.
Right?
It's unappealing.
Yeah, she's not cool. basically. And it's a little bit like less like intense of like a song, but probably like a little bit more realistic to kind of like what they both kind of have dealt with, I guess. And then it goes back to Eminem on the third verse, and he's basically like acting dangerous and driving around, and crashes the car with her in it, and then she like flies out of the car, so she's gone. He doesn't have to worry about that. Done and over with. And then Royce has like an evil twin, so it made me think of like sort of like
his evil twin is Eminem.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like
he's bad and Emma's evil.
Okay, again, as a newbie here, in Royce's life, I thought it was maybe like he was saying like he has like an alter ego, sort of like how Eminem has an alter ego.
Eminem is his alter ego.
Slim Shady.
In the context of bad meets evil.
Okay. All right. Well, you win. And
thank you.
So basically, they just kind of get up to shit, and they don't give a shit about women. So yeah, it's a good one. It's like, more of a story, which I always appreciate, though not necessarily the nicest story. So I give it a 4.5 on 5.
I definitely like this song less. Like, it's definitely like a step down. So Eminem does his whole first verse where Eminem does misogyny a lot better than this when he's high. So post high Eminem, the misogyny just kind of, it's whack. It's not as good for me.
Right.
And I'm not trying to encourage it. It's just like, I don't know, like, I advise you to put up your visor. I'm getting kind of tricked. You're blocking my side mirror. She's like, yeah, so? I'm like, so? You're going to need a stitch. You keep acting like that, ho. I look at your husband, slut. That's a... I'm like, shut up. Like, it's just not interesting, actually, to me. What I did like is at the very end of the verse when he's like, turn that radio up louder, make it thump. Well, I bumped that Relapse CD because he's making fun of how much people hate it.
Yeah.
Trying to hit every bump in that cunt. Then I snapped back into accents, and she kept asking me to quit calling her cunt. I said, I can't. And I thought that line alone was good because it was funny in the way he worded it and everything. Like, it had a charm where it was funny.
Right.
And then, you ain't really like that. Oh, you better. I'm like, what the fuck is this awful chorus? This is a garbage chorus. It's bad.
Okay.
I don't like it a lot.
Okay.
Do you like this chorus?
It's okay.
But it's
I don't know. I mean, it works with the song, but it's not like the best, I guess.
I like how Roy starts his verse because it's a callback to Shake That Ass.
Yeah.
Like, pull up to the, White Trash Party. Pull up to the club in a Porsche like it's pull up to the party in a Pinto like it's a Porsche. Whatever the fuck M says in White Trash Party. And then he goes, pull up to the club in a Porsche, not a Pinto. Well, Marshall's at a White Trash Party. I'm at Drama Central.
Okay.
Anyway, I walk up and they're looking at my phone on Twitter, tweeting, and I'm like, this is boring. So Royce is fancy. He's not like Eminem. He goes into the fancy place and meets the basic lady, and then they're done, and he makes music for himself, swagger line.
Yep.
M goes nuts. He's back to with his girl soon. He's with that first chick who was whatever. He's going nuts. She said Relapse sucks, so he snaps and he crashes the car. But Royce, he can't be bothered with this right away because he's trying to break up this cat fight between his mistress and his damn wife, and the chick wanted a hug. She was fat, so I gave her a dap. Told her to scat. I'm cute. I'm not mean, I'm cute. And so Royce doesn't like fat chicks. He's got more than one lady, and he doesn't see any problems with it, but check it. Venus and Serena's hooves are kind of big, and they got asses, and he hopes they're not mad at him for bringing them up on the record. Then he sees M, and they're all back to business. I'm like, what is this fucking track? So, like, again, in the context of 2011 and not having more, it's kind of nice. Like, this is the new. This is, like, just dropped. It's kind of more Slim Shady-esque than what we, I guess, got on the last Eminem album. But
right.
It's a far stretch to call this good.
Okay.
It's technically proficient, and I could also see how if you're into this kind of silly or ridiculous shit, you might like it. I think the beat's well produced. I don't know. I gave it I'm gonna give it a 4.35 because I recognize how my dislike of the song is a lot of preference stuff, but we're not in the same realm of what you would expect from Eminem, in my opinion. Anything under 4.5 is a miss for Eminem.
Okay.
We could move on then, I guess, to Above the Law.
It's like me.
Like, I feel like this one, it's just got that same light feeling that we got on the last one.
Yeah.
That's what it is. These feel like B-sides from M.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
this
from
one
Royce.
I wasn't so like
what is that beat? Denon is normally great. That beat is so minimalistic and simple.
It's like
nobody
trying to be intense.
Tried that hard to make the beat smash. Claret Jai does real cool with the chorus, but when you really think about it, you're like, that's every Skylar Grey hook, honestly. It's like so many songs have this fucking hook. So many songs in Eminem's catalog basically have that hook. Like, sometimes life seems so unfortunate. That's why I don't get... any one of the girl singers he fucked with could have been that. She's done this shit. The poor stay poor, the rich get richer. Does that have anything to do with this song? No, it doesn't. This chorus... that's not what the song's about in any way, right? That's a fucking throwaway line that they throw in there for to get your empathy. That's why I'm breaking every rule because life isn't fair. Like what?
Because some people think that they're above the law and they can get away with all the shit, and I don't know. They're jealous.
Terrible, but not rippable. Invincible. I hung invisible. Fucking mistletoe all over the world. I stuck my ass up under it. Now pucker up them lips and kiss it, hoes. Here we go. Bad and evil, so you know how this'll go. The competition's miserable. We start them bitches. This is no joke. Going overboard like someone threw us off the boat. Choke. Caught from all the smoke. It's kind of aggressive, and it's got a energy, and he goes real nasally, if I'm not mistaken, on this one. And he hits it with a cadence, but if we really unpackage what he's saying and think about the chorus, what's the connection? I don't get it. I don't know what I'm missing here. Are they the ones that are above the law? Are they taking shots at people who feel they're above the law?
I think it's the second one. I think it's the latter.
Okay. Anyway, so they're back. It takes the whole first half of this verse. Eminem establishes, again, for the fourth time on this album-ish, or maybe the third time on this album, we're back and we're killing this shit. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. I'm champ, bitch. I'll never taste the canvas. Could never be so no damn wuss or pussy. Never mushy, so you can't squish. Nowhere near a tush. In fact, I'll jump out of it. What the fuck? That isn't hard. That's some weird lines, man. That's that's honestly, it's kind of wussy to say mushy and tushies, and I'm and sneak attacks the only way I'll say ambush, because he's ambush as in George Bush, and he's attacking him, and I don't know why this isn't sticking with me. Maybe because it's just a lot of good rhyming. Of course it's great rhyming, nobody wants to take that away, but then we get back to the hook, and outside of that throwaway lyric towards Bush, what does this song have to do with power?
And also, it just kind of, I think that there are a couple of references to Bush on this album, if I'm not mistaken, and it just makes me, this is 2011. Bush is not the president anymore. It's time to move on.
I mean, sure.
We had a lot of music about Bush. Now it's
such a good era.
It's like I get that everybody loves Obama, but I don't know. Maybe he did something wrong.
I just like to remind people that President Obama is ex-President Obama is as much a war criminal as President Bush is.
I mean, he killed people too. He was not he personally, but he was responsible. He's what is it?
Shit out of Pakistan to numbers that were significantly higher. Now, granted, they had better bombs under Obama's era. Yeah, he bombed the shit out of Pakistan. It was fucking weird.
And then he killed off Bin Laden, right? Anyway,
lots of war. Yeah. Then Royce comes through. Baby, I'm lawless. Oh, for the record, I'm a Canadian liberal. If you think I'm not patriotic, I am not patriotic to the United States of America. I wasn't born there, and I don't have any real love for the country as an ethereal being in and of itself. That like Pledge of Allegiance crap still baffles me that the people are indoctrinated from the early age to be that patriotic.
Ooh,
Hell,
we're getting political here.
I'm down enough to say that my Canadian government's a bunch of racist bigots. You can just look at how they're smashing through some Native American rights on pipeline issues. What? Wannabe states up here. Anyway, not related to shit.
Yeah,
but
we do have some issues going on with the natives
commentary
right now.
on how people can act above the law, the way Justin Trudeau, not Pierre Elliott, Justin Trudeau is essentially changing laws and agreements and treaties for the sake of capitalism.
The reconciliation, I don't know how good that's holding up.
Then the natives shut down Canadian rails, and everyone's all like, oh my gosh, we can't travel, which is good in a coronavirus era.
It's that we can't
so
travel,
thank you
it's that
for
industry can't function.
which is good in an era where a coronavirus is busy spreading. We don't really want a lot of traveling right now. All that to say, people are dumb, and this song has nothing to do with being above the law. And the hook is really just, the poor stay poor, the rich get richer. That line sucks. That line is just like baiting people in to like make this song deeper than it really is. But even Royce just dropped the allegory. If this hook appeared on the allegory, none of the words would be coming on my fucking mouth, because that shit talks about some shit where that chorus and those lines make sense. And here it's like, baby, I'm lawless. So from Royce's point of view, he's above the law because he doesn't have to. Like that's what I'm gonna get. It's just I don't know who the fuck we're attacking. Y'all are gonna be like, you spent way too much time on this. Maybe, but that's what struck me from this song. This song isn't good enough for me to not think about that shit. You couldn't burn me if you threw acid on me. I'm at your homie. Am at your home ready to spray you. That's actually pretty good. I really like the way he flips the homie home ready. I like the way he does it. While you napping, homie, everything on and around your mattress looking like the word in front of a matrimony. You high thug, yeah, go ahead, jump. No matter how high you get, you're going to come up like Spud Webb. My DUIs get waived like saying, anyway, I'm like, okay, fine. Not much in this song for me, except for all we talked about so far. I'm giving this a 4.35. It's like, it's cool sounding. I feel like I should want to like it more, and I feel like it's doing the kind of tricks that should be making me call this a banger, but it just misses the mark because there's no real concept to this shit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we've got the feature, Claret Jai. I'm like, this is the first time I've heard of her, so, and I think like heard her singing. She's fine, and like the beat, relatively intense. I thought it was good, kind of gives you that energy. And I found Eminem was spitting really hard on this one. They basically say and do whatever they want because they're above the law. Like, again, like I also found who we were talking about was kind of questionable. So like I wasn't sure. Like it felt like sometimes we were on one side and sometimes we were on the other side. And their words push limits, and obviously, this is something that Eminem's been doing since the beginning. And Royce will destroy you, and he doesn't care, basically. The beat was good, but I don't feel like this one is like a hit. Like, I don't think that this was, the one. So, but it was still fine. It's still a good song. I did feel like I liked Royce a little less on this one, but they were both, they're both their lyrics and their rhymes and their flows were both pretty good. So it's an okay song. Like, it doesn't stand out so much, but I'm kind of questioning a lot of the same sort of things that you did. So I give this one a 4.25 on 5.
All right, let's talk about some trash. I'm on everything.
Okay.
So, Royce is still consuming narcotics at this point. M is sober at this point. Let's talk about how great that beat is. That beat is a banger. Denon smashed this one out the park, in my opinion. The way they took Mike Epps and, auto-tuned him and, syrup, painkiller, cigarette, weed. It's it was a really great chorus. That chorus holds this song now. Coming and rapping. And I kind of like Royce's like singy flow to it, like the whole energy he brings, but this is just an ode to drugs, but like not an interesting ode to drugs. Like Kush cools everything, acid tabs, hash rooms. So yeah, of course they're all gonna rap really well. Of course all the lyrics are gonna be good. But then Royce goes, I done woke up with a fucking tiger in my bathroom, and I'm like, that's the most dated bar ever, because that's a Hangover bar. And the Hangovers had 2 sequels since. And the Hangover's not cool anymore. There's no Wolfpack. Nobody's Wolfpacking no more. It's over. So that's it. And then he goes, I'm fucking hi, or whatever the fuck he does. And it takes forever. Hi. And it just sounds like shit. Like, it actually just sounds bad. Like, okay. You might like it, but I think that sounds like crap. And then, whatever, he finishes his verse, and I'm sitting there going, isn't Eminem sober? And then, painkillers, I call them cane pillars, because it's the whole... And I'm like, oh, he's also doing his singing shit, because when I take him, I need a cane and pillars. I'm on everything. Sick when I kick it. Barf. Me sobering up. Fart. And I'm like, you did sober up. What the fuck? This song doesn't work if you're sober. It just... Right?
He's trying to be, like, nostalgic, I think, with his drug use. So, like, I think he's just being like, remember back in the day when I was on all the drugs?
I don't know how this was, like, a good idea to these guys. Like, so that whole painkillers, cane pillars, cane and pillar, like, yeah, it's lyrically fine in, like, the writing sense. Then crushed up his Tylenol 3s, and I don't know, like, there's not, like, it's all the lines are fine, but all of the, why do I want to listen to this is where I end up with. Like, as I walk away from my dinner with schmucks, you're like, oh yeah, that was a movie. Yeah. Once Upon a Time. Yeah. Another thing nobody cares about that's like, you probably have to Google the reference, making it kind of shitty. Yeah. Unlike what Royce da 5'9" brought later on with the Book of Ryan and the allegory. Anyway, just because I'm doing it. Or then there's the, how many tabs of ACIDYES because I'm sniffing MYEXFUC kid up and it's obvious smoking Henny in my chest. I'm BANANAS and I'm CO. I'm like, oof, this is like, why is this a song? And then they're fucking Lindsay Lohan and shit. And I'm like, yep. I love the energy of the back and forthness. And so, like, in theory, this song kind of does everything right, except being something I ever want to listen to.
Okay.
So I give it a 4.35, because, like, you might want to listen to this. And I recognize that it's actually well-made trash. But this, to me, is well-made trash.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, they are on all of the drugs, and basically, you know, like you said, it's just about their love and need for drugs and their bodily reactions to them and like how they feel. And I like the sample that's used, like, so same sort of thing that you were talking about. I kind of like some of Eminem's lines, and I dye my hair back blonde again and laugh. I'm the real macaroni, you cheesy bitch. I'm demonic with the craft. I thought that all worked really well.
It's well written.
Yeah, there's a devil in my noodle, you angel hair pasta, flows dreaded like some fucking tangled hair Rastafarian Jamaican, relax man, I'll send a fucking axe at you. So I kind of liked that whole like section. I thought it was kind of, you know, it all kind of made sense. I mean, it does feel like nostalgic. I think that he's thinking like of the past, and it has a nice beat and it's funky and it kind of feels like it should be like, you know, like a Purple Pills sort of song. Like it's just like in that sense, like it's just like an ode to drugs, and it's just like a fun song to listen to. Like, it's not about anything serious, it's just about drugs, and if you're on drugs you'll probably really enjoy this or whatever. So I give it a 4.4 on 5.
Yeah, so I guess these guys shouldn't be ever judging people who do drugs like Xannies and stuff in their music.
Sure, yeah.
Just in general. Like, something I've actually, like, and I know maybe you're not supposed to, like, care that much, but, yo, Eminem taught us all to do drugs. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, I didn't know what drugs were. Then Eminem taught me all the drugs. Then Eminem got sober fine. But then he still dropped shit like this, you know? And, like, yes, now Eminem's pretty good on this subject, but I want to hear Eminem do this song where he apologizes for, like, his involvement in getting so many people to do drugs. Like, I don't think I'd have done MDMA if it wasn't for Eminem telling me how good ecstasy was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
I'm telling you, for me, a lot of this stuff comes from them. Like, there she goes, you know, like Shake That Ass has him literally slipping ecstasy in some girl's drink to take her home and have some fun with her. You don't even know. Hey.
I guess.
And, like...
like, maybe people actually did do it. They were like, oh, I'll
absolutely.
do that. Yeah.
There's absolutely a lot of people who probably were desensitized a little bit because, yo, the only rapper for the longest time that was rapping about crazy drugs that I was listening to was Eminem. And then the mainstream started rapping about lean and this and that. And everyone started acting like that was somehow bad or something. But you can't be like, yo, Eminem's the shit, and then be like, yo, but fuck these guys that rap about those drugs and not those drugs. Because, yo, Eminem pushed painkillers on a whole generation of people. Right. Now, a whole lot of people do painkillers. I'm not trying to get, like, a bunch of bad attention for stating this, but it is something I think about from time to time, that I'm heavily influenced by the media I consumed when I was young, and it made me want to do a bunch of shit. And I'm just saying, I would love to see Eminem write that track where he apologizes for shit like I'm on everything, because there has to be some ethical consequence to that shit, in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just being a social justice fucker or some crap like that. Maybe I shouldn't be thinking about that stuff. But I think if you really, like, run it and look at it, everyone was talking about weed. And then Eminem kind of upped the game. And then, well, don't get me wrong, I know lean was popular in certain circles, but I'm talking, like, mainstream, because, again, people when they're historical
like,
looks...
I mentioned lean the other day to, like, some, you know, ladies at work, and they were like, what is lean? Like, they didn't know what it was. And I'm like, it's in, like, all of the songs. I'm like, it's in, like, Old Town Road. Like, it's in, like, everything. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, people are dumb. I remember people going like, yeah, it's totally fine if my kids listen to Percocet, Molly Percocet. And I'm like, what do you think happens when they turn 12? And then they Google, what's Molly and Percocet? Because they remember these tracks they used to sing along to when they were young. For me, it was Men Without Hats, Pop Goes the World. I still know that song. I was 3, and I still bumped that shit. You remember the music you listened to when you were a kid.
Yeah.
With a lot of
I thought you meant that there was, like, a drug reference in that.
I don't know what that song's about. It could be about... It's definitely about, like, a little sexy kind of times. Anyway, the next track on this album is also kind of sexy kind of times.
Let's talk about
A Kiss.
A Kiss.
This is a much better song about, like, women and shit. Like, I like this one. This has that energy. It's like every line is sharp and cuts nice, and like it hits, like, and the beat's kind of weird. Like the whole chorus, like the I want is a kiss, like it's weird. It stands out, like, to the point where I can't say I've heard a lot of tracks like this one. This one has a stickiness to it, like, where I remember it. Like, I can't go digging through and find this track somewhere else so easily where I could for some of the other ones I was shitting on a little bit. Okay. So for me, the album definitely spikes the fuck up back here and gets into a more, all right, I can get behind this kind of flow. What do you think about this track?
Well, like, firstly, I just want to, like, mention that, like, so far, or I mean, throughout the whole album, but, like, each of the songs flow nicely into the next song, like, on the album, like, as you're listening to it. So I just wanted to mention that. And I like that, you know, as, like, you know, listening to the entire album, like, perspective. So it's obviously a well-constructed piece of art. I found this one to just be like, okay. I'm like, I wasn't, like, in love with it. I thought the beat was kind of, like, eerie and fun and, like, kind of, like, more and, like, the horrorcore, like, vibe, but, like, still kind of, like, goofy a little bit, like Eminem is. And I like it less than probably any song I've heard so far. So I don't know. That's me, because I mean you're like super hype about it. So this is not one that I would go back to, but I think that's interesting that you would. So I mean, hey, it's a wonderful kind of day. I think both of their verses are good, and like their rapping and like flows are good. But again, like this one's just, for me, like nothing stuck with me. It wasn't my favorite. And I found the chorus to be like maybe part of like the reason why. Like I just found it like it was too weird. It just didn't work for me. I liked Eminem more on this one than I did Roysta 5'9". But maybe that's just because I'm more used to Eminem at this point, than I am, with Roysta's sound. So, I gave this one a 4 on 5. I mean, that's all I got.
I mean, I just think there's a lot, like, I feel like it's a lot of the flows and the energy and the back and forth just kicks in hard here. Like, from the beginning, Nickel Nina, Twitter beefing, first rapper to shot a fan. And I'm like, that's pretty strong. Like, Royce is mad at your bullshit and he's willing to come through.
Yeah.
Gucci's his absolute state of mind because he likes Gucci. But then there's Gucci Mane, who's friends with Waka Flocka Flame at this time. So Gucci's my absolute state of mind, like Waka's man. And I'm like, it's clever. Chopper spraying, getting head in a parked car, the new Gallardo, the bitch sucking my dick today, call it yesterday's news tomorrow. It's got like a flossy airiness to it, where like, these women probably want these kisses, but really they're just coming through. You got to do what you got to do. The rest of his verse is fine. I just thought it had like a braggadociousness to it, where like unlike the reunion where it just kind of sounded like they were crazy psychos in a pathetic kind of way, they kind of come off strong, like pimps almost, and I kind of like they're able to sell it to me like in a much better, more believable kind of way. Eminem's verse, this first one is fine. It's alright, whatever. Like, hoes all over the ride like it's an ice cream truck. I can see why they fret. I already ran over 2 hoes and I ain't out the fucking driveway yet. Soon as I open the door, you try to resist. What for? Get in, girl. Don't front, shorty. You're fighting an unwinnable war. It's useless. It's tits on a boar or little tits on a whore. Get it? Because having tits on a boar, it's not useful. Like, why do you want tits on a pig-like animal? Which is clever.
Because you need them, because they need to feed their babies.
Fair. Or little tits on a whore, because whores need to have big tits for Eminem.
Not necessarily, because not every guy is into large breasts.
That's true. There's an entire porn series called Little Itty Bitty Titties.
There you go. So somebody's gonna buy them. So hey, anyway, you're wrong, Eminem.
I mean, and then you just kind of run on through the rest of this verses. It's just kind of bouncing. It's just kind of fun, like. It's not anything insightful. It's just little clever little witty lines, almost little jokes here and there. But then we get one of the more interesting shits where I thought it was real funny when they go reeling back and forth, like looking at a tramp like, what are you wearing? Quit playing. Yeah, bitch. And them scratch and sniff pants. Well, let me scratch him. That's Eminem. And then Royce goes, let me sniff him. Yeah, what? Did I say that? I'm on lean like styrofoam cups and kickstands. And I'm like, haha, Royce said he's going to sniff the pussy, the panties and shit. Then the song just kind of like ends, and I don't know. I really don't think there's a whole lot of interesting outside of the way they say shit. The bars are just kind of fine. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
She said sucking a dick's a responsibility in this one. I don't know if that's the one with the sucking a dick line where he repeats that a bunch. It's like, I can't remember, but all things considered, I gave it a 4.5. While none of the lyrics really kind of stake or feel like some shit that's like whatever. Yeah, it is. There's 5 things that you aren't in charge of. That sucking a dick, sucking a dick, sucking a dick, sucking a dick, and sucking a dick. Felt like Royce was very clear there. It was driven in. That's what she's in charge of.
Very clear.
I don't know. It's a 4.5. Like, I can't defend why I like it. I just think it's a lot more fun to listen to.
Okay.
That's fair. We don't have to go keep sticking here with these guys going back and forth.
Well, speaking of fire,
they do have some lighters.
Yeah.
This is a pop song, if there was ever a pop song. Like, this is the least bad or evil thing I've ever heard of my life. This should be called Good Meets Hopeful. All right? That's who should be writing this track. Good Meets Hopeful with the short cover guy.
Featuring Bruno Mars.
That's the short covers guy, because basically all of Bruno Mars's career is an amalgamation of other people's sounds repurposed to create excellent pop music. Does him and Mark Ronson make great pop music? Yeah.
Yep.
Is it original? Not at all. It's just other people's sounds being
People
brought
love
back.
him.
Because he taps into nostalgia. He gives you that throwback.
But no, because young people love him, and they don't know.
I mean,
his
Uptown
references.
take Uptown Funk. It's a clear throwback to another time. All these people would have listened to their parents listening to the shit for sure. And then you hear funk, it's always going to be good. And then it just kind of sounds like 70s movies.
Yeah.
So everybody's watched 70s movies. Anyway.
I don't know about that.
Then we get Bruno here. This is way back, Bruno. This one's for you and me, living. And you're just like, ooh, that's such clean vocals. Now I'm going to make fun of this shit because it is what it is. It is worth saying I have, in fact, listened to this song when it came out. And when you listen to this shit, I feel like you get emotional. Like, it almost taps into the same parts of you that a movie that gives you, like, tears jerking comes through. Like, there's this sense of Eminem coming back, getting into his glory. Royce the 5'9" coming back, getting into his glory. Everyone can believe in themselves. Everyone, all I want to see is a sky full of light. Which really would now be a sky full of cell phone screens. Because you're not getting lighters at a show anymore.
Yep.
I put a lighter up the other day and we looked around and there wasn't a lot of lighters. It was just a lot of cell phones. I don't know. Eminem's verse is great. There's some cool lines like, had a dream, I was king. Eminem annotated this. He meant he was dreaming he was Martin Luther King Jr. Woke up, still king. The rap game's nipple is mine for the milking. Like, that's a weird one. But I like that. Because he woke up and he's still, like, king of the rap game, which I guess is...
But then it's also a reference to ML King.
Yeah, it was all right. But it was still about, like... I don't know where he's going with it. I just kind of like, till everyone fucking feels me, till it kills me. I swear to God, I'll be the fucking illest in this music there is or there ever will be. Disagree, feel free, but from now on I'm refusing to ever give up. Only thing I ever gave up's using no more excuses. Excuse me if my head's too fucking big for this building. Okay. And then in the context of when he's back, this definitely feels like it was created around the same era of, you know, recovery, and he's coming through. Like, it almost feels like Not Afraid in tone.
Yeah.
Only a little bit, whatever, rappier, you know. Pardon me if I'm a cocky prick, but you cops are slick, popping shit on how you flipped your life around. Crock of shit. Who you dicks trying to flip dick. You the opposite. You played the same because cock spelled backwards is still cock, you pricks. And I'm like,
ooh, deep.
Like, it's good. It does that wordplay shit where you're like playing on the cocks and the dicks, and the rhymes are all good. And I don't know, it's just corny. Spell it backwards. Love is evil, I'll tell you.
Right.
You know, like, come on, Eminem. It's funny. It's funny because nobody else is consistently that corny while still being a number one multi-million selling record breaking artist that smashes the shits and everything.
Yep.
Anyway, or the Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no, like, did you not hear that plug in your head? He's like,
yep.
Must end up in nothing brain fuzzy because he's buzzing, woke up from that buzzer. Now you wonder why he does it, how he does it. Wasn't because he had his buzzer circling around his head waiting, and they were like, shut up. Little hussy ass, because he's fucking, guess it doesn't matter now, does it what? And they're like, he just kills it.
Yeah.
He does it to such an extent, but it's so cute and adorable and endearing.
But it's like, it's fun and catchy, and it's something that, you know, everybody knows and can relate to, and it's, you know, it just adds to, like, the pop aspect of it, is that it's relatable. Everybody gets it. Everyone's like, oh, this part sounds like, you know, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, and like, this is something that, you know, white people can relate to. I don't know. Or all people.
So let them bigs raise, because it came with 5'9", but I feel like I'm 6'8". It's like, shut up, Eminem. You know, like, I mean, but it's dad joking, kind of like, I and I don't mean it bad. This song is so feel good. It's so good meets hopeful. And then Royce comes through. By the time you hear this, I'll probably already be outie, because, you know, Eminem says by the time you hear this, I already have spiraled up. So they kind of start their songs together, creating a hook appeal. I advanced like going from toting iron to going buying 4 or 5 of the homies to iron my Audi. My daddy told me, slow down, boy, you're going to blow it. I ain't got to start the beat a minute to tell Shady I love him the way that he did Dr. Dre on the Chronic, to tell him how real he is or how high I am or how I would kill for him to know it. And I'm like, okay. I appreciate that Royce is going to do that same shit like M did Dre, because it is showing the parallel and the appreciation and giving it through or whatever. But gosh, it's just like layering it on, man. It's so fucking thick, the feel goodness of this shit. I don't know. Royce's verse is fine. I don't have a lot more to comment on. And then Bruno can show his ass without the MTV Awards gag was another line that stood out, because I'm like, in hindsight, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, I know there was an MTV Awards gag, but I don't remember fucking anything about it. Like, it's... Anyway. Or y'all bugging out like Wendy Williams staring at a beehive. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, she does kind of have goggly eyes.
And I just can't stand her. So anybody can make fun of her and me. But yeah, this has got the cornball feel to it. It's got the thick layer of pop feel goodness. It's definitely good meets hopeful. Lighters. I can't call this bad meets evil. It's just not what it is. But I like it. I think it's cool to... Okay, so let's talk a bit about versatility.
Yeah.
Hit or miss on this album is definitely a good way to put it.
But, like, Eminem also knows how to... I mean, he wants to make money, right? And this is going to make him money.
This song. But I also feel like this project's a little more experimental. Like, there's some shit on here. Like, listen, I'm on everything. Never would have made an Eminem project.
Yeah.
But because it's bad meets evil and they can be kind of goofy.
He can just kind of like do whatever.
And it's like he's taking on like, and I'm appreciating all of that. But the end result is some of this is maybe not like smashing as hard as I might like. Lighters is good, but I like the fact that as much as we can criticize, and I have criticized some of the stuff on this album, I like the fact that we're at track 7 and we can safely say all 7 tracks are distinct. Like, you might either love or hate each particular individual song, but there is value at least in going through it and checking it out.
Yeah.
Do you have more thoughts for this particular one?
I mean... Yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of, it's very much a radio hit. Like, you know, we've got Bruno Mars's lovely, powerful, crisp voice at the beginning and, you know, obviously throughout as well. It has a nice beat. It feels like, you know, like an Eminem song, like, you know, kind of like how you were saying, like about the things that, you know, he's dealing with, like the fame and like the drugs and like being off of it and like the criticisms of his albums and, you know, of him and all this stuff. And kind of like, you know, looking back and kind of going through the suicide and like the depression kind of like times where, you know, he went through and, you know, how he got through everything because of the love from his fans, and he couldn't do it with the support, and that's why, you know, all of these lighters are all like, you know, basically a light of hope for him, to keep him going and to keep him sober, and like a constant reminder that every time that he does a show or anything where there's like, you know, people are listening to his music, that they are basically reminding him that they're there for him and love him, and you know, we're all fans of Eminem. So and that's just kind of what it is. Just kind of to like, he needs to remember that, and how like the fans give him like strength, you know, to keep going. So that's what we've got from him. And then Royce is basically talking about how he's hearing other rappers kind of like going through like honest shit, and like the things that, you know, they're talking about. He's kind of like, okay, well, I'm not alone. Like, kind of basically what Eminem is saying. Like, he's saying, you know, I went through this depression and I did this and I was on drugs and blah, 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 blah. And like, he's talking about, you know, he talks about a lot of things that people don't necessarily want to talk about. But kind of Royce is seeing that as relatable, you know, being like, okay, well, people are singing, making music or whatever about these sorts of things. Okay, maybe maybe this is happening to more people than you think it is, and that you're not so isolated, and just like that sort of overall feeling, and about like, his like comeuppance, and like how people wouldn't work with him, but now everybody wants to work with him, and now he's getting all the ladies, and he's successful, and blah 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 blah. Basically just about all of that, and like how he just kept dreaming his dream, and it just got bigger and bigger, and here he is today living the best life. So it's a good song. It's like sonically it's great to listen to, and it has like a powerful messages, and about overcoming, and like you said, hopeful, and like all that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's a great song, and you've got great artists all like constructed in there together. So I give this a 4.85 because it's pretty good, but I don't know, it's pop.
Yeah. All right, well, the next track is called Take From Me.
Okay.
I mean, on the one hand, this song's real nice. The Claret Jai does a great chorus. Is everything not enough? What more can I give up? Is there anyone I can trust? I give you my all and you still take from me. So this chorus definitely it connects to the point of this song, which feels like them pleading with us to not steal their music.
Right.
I mean, Royce, I feel it, man. That guy is not rich at this time.
Okay.
Him making this song is totally fine. Eminem is worth fucking 9 figures and shit when this comes out. Shut the fuck up. Like, wow.
Well, Taylor Swift is still whining about it.
Shut the
she's
fuck
worth,
up,
like,
her too.
A lot of money too. So I don't know.
Like, I kind of get it. Even if you've only got a couple of millions, that can like disappear. Eminem is old money. Like his kids inherit old money. Okay, like that's what's happening with Eminem's life now. He's
right.
And he has been for so fucking long. That when I hear Eminem doing this shit, it's like, okay, because like while he's saying we stole his music, we were still going to his shows, we were still buying his merch, so yes, we stole his music, and then everyone I know is buying shady LTD sweatpants or whatever the fuck they were, and like it's buying posters and buying all sorts of Eminem shit. This guy is in no fucking position to write this fucking song. That's all I'm trying to say. Royce, I'm not saying it. It's not the same. It's just Eminem has no perspective sometimes. Anyway, chorus comes through, and then Royce is like, I know that without my fans I ain't shit, but y'all better read my lips. I don't spit raps this ill for you to just hack and steal and leak my shit, so peep my drift. I hope y'all don't think you helping me out with that shit. It's stressing me out. Now, to be fair, there was a problem in the music industry where people leak and steal their shit. Now, leaking stuff, I admit it's kind of bullshit because it's not the final form, and it can fuck up people's entire like album strategies, and like the King Mathers thing with Eminem, like a bunch of bullshit. It can be real bad. That's fine. Nichols 9 is blowing up. Christmas time, you should hang my album on top of your fireplace, because around that time my stocking's going up. Super clever. And again, from Royce's end of it, I actually really feel it, because even in light of these obstacles, he's still fucking like running through it, like it's like Layla Ali's chest, a tough titty. Very good line. And he rolls through, and it's just like you feel his empathy. You feel like the power and the pain of how he's gonna break through and persevere and everything. And even though like it's tough, please look at these expenses, these people expense. Oh, I like it when he ends it kind of talking about with the money shit. If I gotta lend you money every time I see you just to be your friend, bitch, I don't really need your friendship. So I like how it evolves past into just the way people treat him. And like there is that point. One of my biggest fears of getting rich is how I'm gonna tell everyone to fuck off, because nobody's gonna be in my life anymore. I don't have fucking empathy for any of that shit. Oh, you want my money? Get the fuck out. Oh, did you put in the work? No, go away. I'm not really a nice person like that. So I kind of get where Royce is coming from. Then Eminem comes through. I live in a bubble, I struggle with fame, trouble as the pain grows, double, give a fuck what you say, he cares what we say. My music, you take so subtle just to give it away to the people that don't even appreciate flows. Motherfucker, I'm livid today, cause I break my back to give you art, you steal my thoughts, it's like I'm driving a spike through my heart. I'm kind of like, is M mad that people are stealing? See, like, Royce really kind of like...
Well, I mean, Eminem can still get mad about it. I mean, I guess, like, you know, he's allowed
to steal from me, but music's all I got. Bullshit. You got a record label. You got signed artists to you. You got a lot. You got a clothing line. You got a lot of things, Eminem. Don't lie to us. You know, it's not a good look for Eminem. Anyway, I keep rapping, but I wonder sometimes, is it worth all the bullshit? Because it feels like a down when there ain't no getting up from. But I won't let it get me down. I won't succumb. I'm anything but glum, so fuck up. That's a lie. All of that's a fucking lie. We know that because we have the rest of Eminem's career to know how full of shit Eminem is here as he's trying to prop himself up.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's like, I don't feel bad for Eminem. Like, yes, you can say, like here I'll put it in a different way. I don't really feel bad when people steal from major corporations and chains. Like, if you jack a chocolate bar or a soft drink or you steal, like, a Gucci, I don't feel bad for these companies. Like, they make enough money that they can handle this shit. I feel bad when you jack from mom and pop shops and, like, smaller end shits because these people literally can't afford it. So, like, I'm so prejudiced with where I'm okay with my theft. So, like, I feel like it's bad to steal from local indie artists. It's okay to jack Interscope.
Like, he's worth like $250 million. Like,
Eminem is backed by the Interscope machine. The amount of money Eminem gets off of an individual album sale at that point in his career is like, you're stealing from Jimmy Iovine more than you're fucking stealing from Eminem. This whole song is a really great sounding track that's conceptually... I feel like there's parts of it that are a little misled, and it kind of irked me.
But I think it's just like the overall sentiment. But yes, it's just weird when they're singing about it.
It's weird when Eminem. Because, like, now if Royce were to write the same track today, I'd be just as annoyed with it. Because I know where Royce is at in his career now. It's not like he's killing it. You jacking that $20, that, you know, if you steal my album, I've made $6 of album sales in my life. I would be kind of sad if you stole my album because I don't make any money off of it. If I made $1 million and you stole my album, I'd be like, okay, but like I wouldn't be mad. I'd be kind of happy that you like my shit enough to steal it. And it's just the vibe. To me, it says these guys care more about making money off of the art than creating the art when they present that notion, which is weird because I don't believe that's true for either of these guys. I think both these guys care more about the art, but with this track, it makes it sound like that to me. Y'all don't have to agree with me. Anyway, I gave it a 4.5 because in light of everything I said, it's a really honest song.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from their honesty. It just it's like sometimes I respect Marshall the man and sometimes I don't. I respect him today. That's all that matters. This is a game. We're talking about 2011 shits and I don't care how bad y'all think, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, Slaughterhouse is on the next track. Did you talk about it?
No.
I did. Okay, go on.
Okay. So this one is definitely I felt like more of like a Royce song. Like it just feels more like that. And I guess it's true because, you know, exactly what we talked about like his success and being great at the time. But like, and how it, like his success caused like a big rift between him and his brother and how he feels, you know, assumably he feels guilty all of the time about that because, you know, he's, you know, his music he chose over his brother and that kind of sucks, I guess. But still it's something that, you know, is probably relatable and, you know, I'm sure other celebrities that we don't really hear about, like their families and like, you know, their siblings and like things like that a lot of the time. But I mean, there's probably like behind the scenes with a lot of people, not everybody's just like living off of like their, you know, living off of like other people's success. Like, you know, sometimes there's a rift that happens and, you know, there's that kind of anger that's behind it. And I'm sure that's a lot of the time. Money causes crazy stuff. So, and he's got like issues with like friends because they were expecting things from him. They always want something from him. So he's kind of annoyed with that happening. And again, exactly like what you were saying, like he's dealing with people in the music industry and taking from him as well. And like Eminem talks about that as well. And that's, you know, part of like the negatives that come along with like his success is that, you know, these people are still, you know, just using you and taking money from you, and like there's all these issues with copyright and, you know, who gets to like have the music and who gets the money from the music, and it's all like, oh, these, you know, I feel like Eminem's got the best lawyers, so I'm sure he can figure all of that stuff out. But I don't know, it's fine. I didn't really love Claret Jai on this one so much, but she did have an interesting sound. I mean, for me, it was a good one, not an amazing one, just a good one. So a 4.35 from me.
Fair. The next one has Slaughterhouse featured on it, which is fair because they're signed, they're friends of
and they're here
Royce
to make some loud noises.
Slaughterhouse. I enjoyed listening to this, but how do you feel about it?
This one is very intense. The beat is like super like bah, it gets you. Yeah, like you said right away. We've got the Slaughterhouse, like that happens, and I think that's like just part of like what they always do. And like Eminem is like so fast on this one, I find, and like he's kind of like playfully tough. Crooked One is like super tight.
Crooked Eye.
Oh, I thought it was Crooked One.
Now he's King Crooked. He's evolved to King Crooked.
There we go.
But it's definitely Crooked Eye.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool too. Royce is talking about girls and coke and his big penis, and so cool. Joel Ortiz is his flows kind of like make me like think of Eminem mixed with Lil Wayne a little bit, so I thought that was kind of like an interesting mix, and I thought that he was good. Joe Budden we've got here as well. He has a good verse, but he's basically like acting all tough to, you know, prove his haters wrong, or just to like, you know, kind of he's puffing his chest against like the haters and whatever. So I mean, I don't really have like too much to say about it. It's a good song. It's fun to listen to. It's very, very hype and energetic. And it's a good collaboration. I thought it was perfect. So I gave it well, not perfect, but very good. So I gave it a 4.5 on 5.
I think Eminem starts it off strong. He's got that high-pitched, Slim Shady, aggressive voice, and it's cool. Like, life handed me lemons. I've jumped back into public eye and squirted lemon juice in it. By now, you just wish I'd fucking die, but I electrify, get electrocuted, executed by the execution. My dad's cool. He's coming in. This is going to be one of those lyrical, hard, fucking punching things. You know, there's not, like, a lot in M's verse that I think is like super. I'm gonna comment on it and say a whole lot of shit. You know, it's just kind of what it is. He kills it. He comes in, and it's enjoyable. And his flow is proper. And like this is kind of like hearing this, you're like, why wasn't the rest of the fucking album as good? But you know, and I think this is a standard. I think this is one of the best tracks on the album, to be completely honest with you. So it's flowing, it's real good, but then it really increases when King Crooked comes through, man. I think his verse is by far the best on this whole fucking track.
Cool.
Just the I'm a menace, feeling my penny sick and spilling my lyrics killing. Then I let you witness shit when they hit the ceiling. I'm willing to give the listeners the sickest feeling, like missing some Benadryl and penicillin. And then I'm feeling the clip like a written pow. Can you see my picture, my pistol drilling? And I'm just like, ooh. Like that's all like basically the same rhyme. The way he did it all, it's all just, and the way he flows it is better than what I did. It's cooler with the pausings and shit, and it's just fucking killing it. You just feel like this smoothness to the way he comes through it, and it's just fucking fire. You popping shit till your opposites. I can spit ominous or spit politics. Now I'm Haley Selassie Gandhi and Pac on this hip hop genre, bitch. And I'm like, what powerful people to compare himself to. Just King Crooked kills it. He's just fucking fire on this. It's amazing. And then you get that Slaughterhouse, and then Royce is back, and I'm like, okay, so he's literally a cocaine cowboy. Wait, what? Did I just go almost 4 bars without talking about my big dick? And I'm like, you haven't talked about your dick like almost anywhere on this album. You barely talked about your dick. You did a whole lot of 4 bars without your dick. That's fine. His voice is like fun to listen to. The verse is fun. It's just again like him and M. They're not like I don't have as much to comment on. It's just fun to listen to. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a lot more to say about Royce. Joel Ortiz is cool. He rolls on through. Mm-hmm. I also don't have a whole bunch to cop. I'm on him. I'm fine. He's just fine. He raps proper. Everything's good. I do like when he goes, I'm going to get you mad with this gift I have, like duck suffering, succotash with a trigger blast. I'm going to put you on your fitted hat with a liquor at, sip you a bad bitch with a vicious track. Like, it's all of this. It's just the compounding, syllabic, fucking stacking that shit. It's fucking dope. I do like suffering succotash because it's a rare thing to hear and it just always sounds good. I'm a big fan of alliteration like that. Rolls on through. Then Joe Budden fucking sounds like he can't keep up the entire verse. Like he sounds like he's just behind and he cannot keep up. Like it's like a sloppy verse. I mean, like it doesn't sound like it's aesthetically he chose to be. It sounds like this is the best take they had. And they went with it. And then that's it. Like, it's just... I mean, I know Joe Budden can rap his ass off. But now I understand...
No, now I want to, like, listen to it again just to be like, oh, okay.
I feel like he's off beat in some way. Like, he's rushing. Like, it doesn't fit snug like everyone else is. But it's cool. Like, I didn't say what they call us, how you married to the game, but you probably should have come to the altar every bar like a pro paying for the sawed off. You should have hanged, but they'll fault you. Eminem, Mr. Porter, slaughter my sentiments, eminent torture, all of you feminine marauders. And it's actually lyrically, like, the same. It's as good, you know? I kind of like when he goes, it's got an aura more like Sodom and Gomorrah. Normally something's wrong with me. Blame it on the quantity of the porn I see on pawns to me when I fix the game. Y'all think shit came with a warranty. How the fuck they gonna stop what I was born to be? And so like it has this like he's corrupted, the biblical comparison, just all of it is hitting. It's just he's just kind of sloppy. And then or sit your faggot ass right there in the dormancy. Wait, all you missing is heels to be RuPaul. Ain't nobody that's real ever knew y'all. I would argue RuPaul is doing way better than Joe Budden today. Throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'd believe that.
But yeah, anyway, I thought this was a pretty fantastic way because this is the last track on the album proper, and the next 2 tracks are bonus, right? So I thought this was a pretty cool way to end it. It hits fucking strong. Outside of the sloppiness of Joe Biden, and we'll say the lack of remarkability in Royce to 5'9", I gave it a 4.75. I can live with all that. That shit's fire. Like, this shit comes on, and it's one of those bars for days, just plays heavy-hitting tracks, but it's not perfect when it could be.
Okay.
Anyway, there is living proof. How do you feel about this one?
Well, this one, like, right away, like, I like the beat because I like drumming, so I like that. We've got, like, Royce, like, is on his own, basically on this one, I think. And, like, how, like, he's now hanging out with, like, the most...
is there.
Isn't he? Yeah, he's on... Is he on there?
No, they're both, but they go back and forth.
Ah, okay. Anyways... disregard. So he's basically just like bragging about like how he's hanging out with, or not bragging about it, but like I think more in awe of the fact that he's hanging out with like the most like famous rappers in the world, and like he's living proof that, you know, hard work and you know, having that American dream, it works, and the harder you work, the harder or the sooner you'll arrive at success. And, you know, I think Eminem, I guess, does a similar thing. I literally wrote nothing about him on this one. So nothing can stop them. And they're here. They're at the top. And, like, you can be successful, too. Like, you can do this, too. Like, if you just work hard, basically. So, I mean, for me, it was, like, an okay song. But, like... and, like, a good story. And, like, you know, a reminder from, like, the people at the top that, you know... you can like escape, like, you know, if you're in like a shitty situation, like you can escape that and like be successful and be at the top, and, you know, don't listen to the haters, basically. So it's good, but I gave it a 4.25 on 5.
This is by far the most boring song on the album. I don't like the don't stop that just comes through in the beat. Like, I get it. It's from the funky drummer. It's some James Brown sample, but it's done to fucking death in this track. It's just constant. Otherwise, it's like, it's cool. It's cool in the sense that it comes through rapping. Like, if you're unlike me, already feeling every track on this album and you're just dying for another one, this is a B-side if I ever heard a B-side. It's a less good version of other shit on this project. So it makes sense to be on the bonus. Okay. Royce starts us off like we're about to get into the tale of a gunner that details the dungeon just as the pale moon eliminates the hail and thunder. And oh, once the year where I fell from blundering, Shady lifted his wing, then I fell from under it. 2001, Em and Royce have a beef. He's free falling. Everything goes bad. His career's fucked up. Whatever. He's alive. Justin T ain't got nothing on him because he done cried Mary J. Blige rivers. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, and then people see him with M and Jay-Z, and now everyone's calling him back up, and, you know, he's famous again, so people like him. Yep. Then the chorus is fine, but, like, it's also lukewarm, like, when the bottle stop popping and the dollar stop stopping with it, and you're like, okay. Royce doesn't, it just feels like he's just continuing to rap it. Like, there's a certain, like, I kind of get the kind of chorus he's doing here, and I feel like M would have slammed this chorus and it would have been good, but Royce's chorus doesn't hook me. It's just cool. Like, I'm living proof. It's pretty safe to say, God giveth and God taketh away. It's the worldwide American way. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck is the worldwide American way? That God giveth and God taketh away. What the fuck does that mean? That's that same vapid nonsense where it's like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. Well, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, but when you really think about it, you're like, huh?
Yeah, that's you're on everything, right? Yeah. And then Eminem's here. Your body language is saying your confidence is gone. Well, pick your ass up, little homie. Come on. You just gonna sit there and take it, or make him suck it? Tell him where to shove it straight up. You gonna make love to the world, or you gonna fuck it? I'm like, okay, so Eminem's basically lashing out, saying, don't sit there and be whatever. Come through and hit hard, because he's gonna fucking hit hard and shit, and etc. And then verse goes on through. They do a whole third verse where they each do a half of it, and yeah, nothing really interesting happens in this track. Look, like, the beat's alright, everything's alright. Like, if we're gonna compare this to, say, other people's music, I would argue I would rather listen to this than other people's shit. If I'm gonna compare this to what I've heard within the catalogs of Eminem and Royce da 5'9", I'm giving this a 4.25 and calling it one of the worst songs in Eminem's catalog.
All right. Well, that said that.
Let's talk about Echo.
Let's do it.
What do you think of this one?
This one is interesting. We've got Liz Ridrugues. I hope I'm
Ridrugues.
Yeah, I hope I'm saying that right.
She's done a few tracks with him.
Yeah. At the beginning, and like, she's lovely and like sounds like a little bit eerie, which I think fits with like this entire song. Eminem rapping about being the best rapper, and you know, he can destroy others. And is back and has, since this is the last song, proved that he is the greatest rapper. So it has a nice beat. Royce is basically great because he's signed to Shady Records, and it feels kind of similar to, you know, we're going back, we're putting our head into like 2011, right? So it makes me think of kind of like what was happening with Joe Budden, and just like how like he's just very appreciative that he's like living his dream because he's just signed to Shady Records. So he's humbled to be working with Eminem, and he's amazed at the same time to even be there. And I think that that's kind of like a cool, and it's nice, and it's very like, you know, an honest feeling. And I think that we, you know, anybody would be, honestly. So I feel like that you can, like, on this song, that it's very clear that we've got like a teacher and a student situation, like that, you know, we've got like Eminem, who is like there and like showing him like how to do everything, and Royce da 5'9" is definitely like watching, observing, learning, and kind of just taking it all in. So I think that that's just kind of like what he's dealing with, and I think it's kind of cool. It's a very cool song. I feel like even though they're from like like they're saying like something different, that they're both sort of saying the same sort of thing at the same time, and like that Royce is basically Eminem's echo. Like he's just kind of like there's always going to be like this kind of right. That's how I interpreted it. That's kind of he would just continue on with like Eminem's kind of like legacy, I guess. So I thought it was kind of cool. So I give it a 4.5 on 5.
I feel like the echo is meant to be like just like the adoration and praise or the buzz or the noise that comes from them, whether it's positive or whatever. It's just everywhere they go, you know. I feel like Eminem's verse, it's a lot of this one, it's how he rapped it. This might be the most interesting in terms of rhythm and flow and complexity and shit. And it really flosses that in a good way. You know, I eat rappers with the rhyme, consume them. The only, you know, just the way he like plays with the timing and he gets faster and slower and really just fucks it around. I thought like it stood out. The only fucking thing that you consume is time. I'm superhuman. My world is like Rubik's Cube. It's too complex. Girl, you assuming Cupid. Lumi's my mentality's caveman. Stupid women. I mean, he's fine. He's basically recognizing how he's adored by the world, how he's coping with fame. And I kind of really appreciate the honesty again, and overall just that he brings that over here and just pours it down. I don't have a lot to comment. It's not like he's bringing like revolutionary new ideas. He's not like he's even doing it in the best way we've ever heard. It's almost like kind of what I want from him, you know, like raw to the core, to the bone, all the way down to my soul, from my head to the toe. Ever since I was 13, I learned how to sew and shut my own booty hole. Because I ain't took no shit since I looked down to my nuts and saw my first pubics grow. So it's like, cool, all right, like it all makes sense, it's fine. The chorus strikes really hard. And then Royce, again, he kind of like comes through. He's classical poems. Battle my own demons and need a glass of Patron. Battle as I need a horn stabbing my clavicle bones. I'm matador prone, you know. And so I really enjoy the way he like uses his language. I feel like he has a higher level of intellectualism than Eminem. And when he does floss that, it's really fucking cool. Basically, he kind of comes through like he's the second best guy to Eminem in this track. He's like, that's kind of how I feel. Like he's there to be like the side guy. And I thought like in general, just the way it ends, like the ladies check as they whisper Shady Records. That was fun too. The way he ends it. But nowadays, I'm 100% sure Royce thinks he's better than Eminem. Like 1,000% sure Royce thinks he's the greatest of all time. I think Royce is I would argue, I think Royce makes a more interesting album than Eminem if they were to go toe-to-toe today. Eminem sells more because of legacy. But I thought this was fun to listen to, and it really ended things better because I wasn't hopeful when I got to like Living Proof. But no, this was a good end. I like her chorus better than, say, the one in Take From Me. But I'm going to give this a 4.5. It's a cool track.
Cool.
All right, so I guess that brings us to the end of this little EP that's actually a full-length album based on length. I don't know what the fuck they call shit, the things they do. I gave the project a 4.5. I mean, I don't really know if this is a classic. I think it's more of a niche. Like, if you already love Eminem, it's a classic. If you already if you like what these guys bring to the table, if you want another 11 tracks to fiend through and you haven't already heard them, it's delightful. I think in 2011 when this came out, it was really strong and it was really something like
maybe that's
fuck shit up, like for the timing. Like it was a powerful way to coincide with like Slaughterhouse's launch on Shady Records and Yellow Wolf and like to reintroduce shit. So it's like a great promo tool. But that's what this feels like. It feels more like a great promo tool than a great album.
Interesting.
I feel like there's a lot I don't like to a point where I don't know, it's not a classic. It just has some really fucking great banging songs. Like, it's got some really good songs on it, and then it's got some really forgettable things. Like, when you think about it through the frame of all music, like, it's a cool sample of what these two guys can do, but I feel like they threw this out to satisfy the itch or to hype some shit up. But what I want to hear is what happens on the alleged Bad Meets Evil 2 album that may one day be coming. Apparently, it's a thing. I'd be curious to see what they can do today, where they're both deeper than this time in their lives. But this is like a really good album. I'm probably never going to listen to outside of Fastlane. Fastlane, track for the ages. I can't actually recommend anything else as something I think is sticky 10 years later.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I give this a 4.43 on 5, so it's an 88.6%. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, there are some very good songs on here, and like, for like the most part, like the quality is good, everything's well made, but it's just not necessarily likable, all of it, or like you said, sticky. Like, it's not all of it sticks with you. So, but am I happy I listened to it? Yeah, I am. Am I probably going to go back to it? Probably not.
Never.
But, you know, the more you know, I guess.
Anyway, so, yeah, thank y'all for watching.
Yes, thank you.
It totally means a lot to us that you would do such a thing. Feel free to leave any comments with your thoughts and your opinions and your ideas. Feel free to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews.
Clickety-click.
So yeah, that would be cool of you. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Burns, DJ Black, Hurricane, Linda Williams, Coney Sparks, and Scribble. They support what we do. Had us get a new camera, get to tell us what albums to review. As the next episode we're going to record is a Patreon request. So if you really want to see us do something and it hasn't happened yet, you kind of force my hand over there. Otherwise, we have a lot in the works, and so we promise that by the end of 2020, this place will look completely different and stuff. So I also make music myself. You can check that out on Spotify, this channel, all the different places. Holden, Stephan, Roy, The Alternative Grind is my project that I just put out, working on a new one. Looking forward to sharing that with y'all. And live long and prosper, everyone.
Bye, guys.